Howdy, ho ho ho, everybody. Today we are talking video game adaptations. We're talking about the films, the TV shows, whatever the hell we want to
Hey,
be adapted.
don't overlook books like that. How dare you? Books as
We,
well. Give them a good
we don't
shout.
we don't talk about books in this household. But yeah, Loon, you hit me with this topic where you're like, "Hey, what do you want to see a video game of?
Hmm.
What is the IP that you want to see adapted into video game form?" And I hit you with a few. You hit me with a few, and we're gonna hit the audience with a few that we want to see adapted. So, dude, I'll kick it to you first. What is the first thing you would love to see made into a
Oh,
video
I should
game?
have been better prepared. Hold on. I'm not gonna pause it because it's right over there.
Uh-oh. Loon's gonna he always gonna go do some digging. So we got some live investigative journalism on my part. What are we seeing here on the screen before you? You have a physical copy of something here that Loon is about to display to the world. At the Mountains of Madness, Volume 2, some Lovecraft horror.
You see how fucking big this thing is as well? Look at that.
That is sick. That
Library
artwork's
edition,
sick.
baby. Right. So, huge Lovecraft fan, at least of his work, not him personally. He wasn't the nicest man to
I
live.
heard that.
But let's separate the art from the artist. Just want to get that off the chest. Make sure everyone knows that I'm not a racist. Right. um. So, b- hadn't been exposed to his work early on per se. So it's one of them things where I I would probably say the Sinking City was like the first plunge that I took whenever that first released, and it was like, ooh. Oh no, Bloodborne before that. Sorry, kind of scratched that itch, and it was just like, ooh, I kind of like this cosmic horror, and obviously knew of Lovecraft, but never like went out and was like, yeah, I'll read his books and stuff like that. It's just not something that I thought about like say 10 years ago. How times change. So the Sinking City came out, and it was like, ooh, this is really good, but they're just missing something. And then played Call of Cthulhu, and it was like, man, this is really good, but you're just missing something. And the big thing is that I understand that it's meant to be you. It's a struggle of perception and stuff. So, kind of showing the monster ruins it. I don't know, man. Like only showing Cthulhu for literally like 2 seconds is criminal. So, what I'll do is I'll run that trailer and I can just talk. That's as you saw, Volume Two. So what I did was I actually read Call of Cthulhu last year in that same format of that library edition book. This company makes really good high quality books, really beautifully illustrated. And I actually finished. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I finished At the Mountains of Madness, Volume One. I've not begun Volume Two yet, but when I was sitting there like reading through it, all I could think about was like how good of a game adaptation that this would make. In the same vein as, have you played the Council?
That's the like the kind of choose your own adventure style
Yeah.
game.
So
Yeah.
either that or because that's what I'm thinking of. Like, if you wanted to like not have any combat esque kind of stuff like that, and you wanted to slow it down, but I think they're onto something with the Sinking City at the same time, though. I think what this needs to be is um. hmm. So at the Mountains of Madness, it's not set in like a town like the original Sinking City was.
Is it
It's
surrounded by water?
it's basically they go to like Antarctica, basically, and it's where the setting is. It's basically technology hasn't advanced enough for them to, like we can now. We can just fly there, for instance, and get to the very top, and we
Hmm.
know what's all there. So how the story portrays itself is there's uncharted territory. It's so difficult for human life to get to that point that there's this entire civilization that's built there, and that's the story of it. That they're a bunch of explorers. They find these fossils, they find these remnants of places, and where that first volume ends is essentially the group arrive at this ruin, and there's a massive hole leading into like an abyss, and they're choosing to go down there. And that's what I like. I'm sitting there thinking like, man, this would make such a really good game, like really good game. Like it
So
doesn't
like,
even need combat. There's no pulse pounding combat sections. It's all just intrigue. It's they have all these different teams in different planes going further and further. They make a base camp. Then they find a bit of remnants and then they move on and stuff. And then something really bad happens.
oh,
So you lose contact with one of your teams, and that's why they're pushing forward because they're basically like, that's very strange. And what they're doing is they're relaying this back to the world because they're reporters basically.
bro,
So they're turning around and he puts his hand on like the mic and basically is like, we can't tell them like shit's gone sideways. Just tell them that we found them and we just have to roll with this. So they basically
dude,
feed partial lies, partial truths. And that's the intrigue. They get to that thing and it's like it's limitless possibilities as to where the story can go. Like it's so incredibly well crafted. And that's the thing that he builds, and the thing that was missing in Call of Cthulhu for me, it's so much shorter of a story. Call of Cthulhu, it felt kind of rushed. I'm so glad that this is in two parts because it's given that really slow build up, time to breathe, where it's not impacted the other half of the story. Hopefully,
bro,
so
you know what I was thinking? Like, what if it was all the video game was all done with like live foot or not live footage, but like you're pretty much watching a recording
mm,
the entire time or something where it's like kind of shaky cam and you're seeing things through the eyes of a recording or something to the because you remember Tomb Raider 2013 where it was all the whole setup was it was like this reality show of sorts at the beginning of the game before shit goes totally crazy. Um See, I don't know, dude. That idea of like Indiana Jones, obviously less combat, but that Lara Croft, Indiana Jones exploration focused horror, like that is that yeah, that's really intriguing to me. Maybe have like parkour elements, Dying Light-esque, not totally to that outlandish degree, but where you're
oh,
able to kind of
I think you could like what you said with Tomb Raider 2013 because it's all ice in at the Mountains of Madness. It's a complete ice cap. So you could have like being able to climb that and stuff. But the thing is like I said, it's also what you got to keep in mind is much further in the
grounded.
past. It's like the I don't know, like 1930s roughly kind of thing, like that kind of time setting. So technology is extremely limited and stuff like that, and they don't have weapons on them, and that's what makes the story interesting. Is that if anything happens, they're gonna have to really like think on their feet as to how they would get out of the situation and stuff. But it's just some of the parts that he wrote in that are just very like you feel stuff going on, even though like you're just reading it, and that's like the beauty of a great author and stuff like that is that he's described it perfectly to a T, the scenario that you can imagine in your brain, where they're like they've discovered these things and they have the like the sledge dogs that help them take stuff back and forth.
Ah, yeah,
They've had
yeah.
to put them like hundreds of meters away from the camp because they're driving themselves insane because they have a greater sense of smell. So when they've uncovered these Lovecraftian things, fossils and stuff, they can smell a lot more than what the humans can. So it's driving them nuts and just stuff like that. And it's just, yeah, it's so beautifully crafted.
Well, dude, my my idea for what I want adapted is uh, quite the transition from Cthulhu and Lovecraftian style, yeah, horror. I'm talking dazed and confused, my friends. For those of you who will take yourself back to the Matthew McConaughey debut, the movie that made, I don't know if it was officially his debut, but it was the movie that made him a star. And So here's my thing. I have always wanted a game about nothing. A game where there truly is just no point. And you think to like The Sims, and then you got that upcoming Enzoy game that kind of taps into that feeling where there, there's not a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you would need a beginning, a middle, and an end to some degree with this. Like I think it should be a single player, somewhat narrative driven experience, and then roll credits on it and all that. But I would want this to be something where there is no quest log, there is no okay, here's what you got to do by the end of this day. It's like here are your days, and you do what you want to do. And if you technically roll credits, cool, you rolled credits, but it's not an accomplishment. It's not the point of the game. The point of the game is to just exist. And this movie is one of the only movies I've ever watched in my life where I truly get the feeling of I'm a fly on the wall just watching characters exist. They don't feel like they're
Mm.
performing for me. They feel like they're performing for each other. They feel like they're talking to one another. They're existing in their own world, and I am just getting a bird's eye view into their world. And I love that, man. I think that the Quarry, actually, I know that's a weird example, but the Supermassive game, I thought they did a really good job of that. This sort of teen camp thing, and they it felt like you were just a fly on the wall watching people engage with one another. And that's such a rare thing in games where it feels like games are often trying to perform to you as the player.
Yep.
Everything's catered around you as the player. You're the hero. And it's like, I don't know, just exist in a world. um and I don't like I if you want to get from point A to point B, I think that could be fine. But when I watch that movie Dazed and Confused, I look at that arcade scene with they're in the pool hall and there's all the arcades. It's like I would love to play a game where we just hop in a car, you pick where you go, and if you go to the arcades, there's like more lore and backstory there where, oh, there's Timmy. He's the master of pinball. So you get to go and challenge Timmy on the damn pinball machine. Oh, there's Tommy. He's the master of the pool table. You get to go and challenge Tommy at some pool. And then, I'm horrible with remembering names, but the main character of Dazed and Confused is kind of a smaller kid. He's a freshman and he's getting like picked on by the seniors. Like Ben Affleck's a major asshole in the movie, and he's got this wooden fucking the wooden thing that they used to spank kids with back in the day
All the
that
paddles.
the paddles, yeah. And so he's got this paddle and he's just chasing down freshmen, just popping them bitches. And so like that's a mini game, escaping the seniors. And but also the freshman is a baseball player, and that's how he kind of gets integrated in with the popular kids of the older classes because he's good at baseball. And so like a mini game is going and playing a game of baseball and I don't know, probably just simple QTEs or whatever.
Do you know what this sounds like? It sounds like you
What's
just
that?
want Bully 2, my friend. That's what this sounds
Bro.
like.
Yeah.
Bully 2,
Yeah.
we in college now.
Yeah. Dude, you're not wrong. Like at the end of the day, that is just kind of what I want. I just kind of want Bully. It bums me out so much that dude, you nailed that because that is really one of the only games as well where you just feel like you're existing. Like it's sure there's a beginning and a middle and an end, but it's really not the point. It's going to class, it's taking the tests, it's seeing if you can ace the fucking English test, going into PE, doing the wrestling. Like, yeah,
That's why
at the end of the day.
you have such a fondness for like Lost Judgment, I imagine then, because
Yeah.
it kind of bridges that want and desire for a bully too, because he goes undercover at a school, right?
Yep.
And you have the mini games and stuff, and there's stuff going on in there. So
It's really my love for mini games more than anything, where
mm.
it's like Judgment is great, but Lost Judgment is so much more my speed because it's like, oh, now I'm gonna go and be a part of a robotics class. Oh, now I'm gonna go and be a part of a biker club. Oh, now I'm gonna go and be a boxer. And it's like, fuck yeah, dude, that's my shit. Having fully fleshed out mini games like that. They could kind of be their own game. Yeah, it's you're totally right. That's definitely why I want this to exist, but I do want it to exist. So Dazed and Confused, that's going to be my my first pick. And I just think it's such a good name, Dazed and Confused. Imagine seeing that on a box, like some silly high schoolers hanging out the side of a car window on the box. Like there's a good sell. There's some like orange and yellow colors. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, not a film I've seen. So that you writing that down, I was like, oh, okay. Because
Dude.
you changed what was on that list. I thought it was going to be other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
the
you
thing I
Uno reversed me.
for some background, Loon and I share a documents app. That way he can prepare the trailers and stuff. He does all the production work for us. And so I had Bad Boys on there, but I've already talked about wanting a Bad Boys game on the channel before. I remember we did some video and because I looked back and I had Martin Lawrence on the thumbnail for it. And so I was like, well, let me not talk about Bad Boys again. I fucking love Bad Boys. I'd kill for a Bad Boys video game. But yeah, we'll go with Dazed and Confused first up.
All right. So this is my second title, right?
Yes, sir.
Let me just get that rolling. Right. So sticking in the realm of reading. Um, hey, this has a TV show as well. It did well enough. I don't know if they're getting greenlit for like more. The writer is in hot water at the moment, and it's Neil Gaiman
Oh boy.
with Sandman. Have you
Mm.
heard of Sandman?
Yeah, of course. Spider-Man's nemesis.
Alrighty then. Not that one, I'm afraid. This is much more dark and yeah, I don't even know like how you like describe it briefly. It's a very, very dark and cryptic story where it blends together because I believe it's DC. Because Constantine, is that John
Yeah, I think
Constantine? Is
that
that
is.
DC?
I believe so.
So he is in that universe, which means that it falls under the frame of DC. And I've been reading through the first omnibus, and I'm almost done with it.
Nice.
And the range of stories that go on in that series is so bizarre. Like he has almost like a flighting battle in hell with demons to
Oh,
get his powers
Jesus.
back. So to summarize it, he is the god of like dreams, basically. So his whole power is that he possesses a dream world and he's able to like manipulate things. His sister is deaf and stuff like that. So it's all like embodiments of different gods and stuff. And he somehow gets captured. So he loses all of his like magical gear and stuff. And it ends up falling to one of the demons in hell. So he ends up going there and basically like battling wits with this demon to get it back and stuff like that. And it's just it would make for such an intro if there's ever going to be a game that could pull off like episodic structure. I think it would be a Sandman game because it wouldn't be like how would you describe it? It would try to mimic the way the comics present the stories, where it's completely different stories bit by bit. So you self-contain it. Maybe you can wrap that story up in 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours, and then episode two and stuff like that. Because it doesn't stall them stories. Like they're constantly moving forward. New things are happening. Massive things are happening. So I've it's a series that I've fallen in love with. I haven't seen the TV show yet, so I'm not sure how they've adapted it. But it's something that really like the council would be the perfect like counterpart to it. Probably more
What do
so
you
than the Lovecraft.
what do you think in like aesthetic kind of Dante's Inferno, or is it more of a cell shaded? Like how do you envision this playing out like a
So
comic?
let me go grab it quickly. I'm sorry,
All right.
I'm a show and tell kind of person,
No, you
but it
good.
has
I'll
a
talk
very
while you.
distinct art style that would be very hard to like describe.
Yeah, I'll talk about what I was thinking while you. So I was thinking Dante's, and just based on the way Loom was describing it, I was thinking like a Dante's Inferno, really dark, but also I don't know if like poppy is the right word, like not dark to the point where it's depressing, where you still have like this, I don't know, high octane action feel to what's going on. Um, and it's not just totally like I was thinking not Scorn level dark, something a little bit more palatable. But we'll see exactly what the visual presentation's looking like here with the
Right, this is huge. Like these are big
hmm,
boys. So this is what I mean. It's packed in tons of story, but the art style. Let's try and find something. Like it's very grim. I'm hoping it picks up. You can kind of see his face. It's very like
yeah.
it's very
And
pronounced.
do you have one of the world that they're inhabiting or
Oh, there would be. Hold on.
because I was thinking like I'm not I'm assuming it's not like Scorn levels of like fleshy, grotesque. Oh, it is. Okay, okay, so it's more Scorn.
Do you see him?
Yeah. Okay.
So it is very, very adult. I guess is the way that like they're not shy with anything.
Right.
And the only way you would be able to pull it off is in the comic book shade of thing. I wouldn't want it done like in an agony art style where it's like
Hmm.
pushing and scorn, where it's like realistic, fleshy. I don't think that that would be very, very appealing. But like something
You
like the
think?
council, where it's you can see it's hand drawn kind of stuff, but it's very beautifully animated and stuff like that. I think that could be really
Okay.
good because I don't think they tried Web of Weird, where it genuinely one to one basically the comic book style, and it doesn't flow well
Right. Oh
because
boy.
of the game was not only bad, but just even the art style just didn't. I don't know. It didn't flow well in the sense of a game.
Yeah. It's because I was thinking like would a Wolf Among Us visual presentation work, but like a really dark ass sort of comic book look
Yeah,
like that?
you could get away with that.
Okay.
You could get away
Okay.
with that. And even in that style, like I think that style of game as well, where because it's not something where it would be pulse pounding action. It's not going to be like a
Right.
Wolverine and stuff. A lot of the
Oh,
stuff that
okay.
he does is he's outsmarting people, or he gives somebody a deal that they think is favorable. They think they've backed him into a corner, and it's actually he's always got many more hands to play. So yeah,
Well, my friend, once again, pivoting completely in the opposite direction for my second choice. Um, I it's crazy to me that we don't have a good Fast and Furious game. Like I think that is actually criminal. A film series that has been going on for what over 20 years now
yeah.
and not one. Like they've had so many attempts at games, not a single good one. And I was also thinking names. Fast and Furious is such a great name. Dazed and Confused is such a great name. Names that are quick to the point on the box, you buy them, boom. And like I just it's to me it's such a simple cheap formula as well. To make a good Fast and Furious game is not going to be this expensive, arduous task. It's remake that first movie in game form
Mm-hmm.
and you go undercover and instead of sleeping dog style high octane action, you race. Like it's pretty damn simple. And sure, you got to pad it out a bit. You got to turn it into an 8 hour game. So you go on some side investigation missions for, trying to go undercover and uncover some secret, shady operations that are going on. Report back to your police chief and fucking make some extra cash that way. You go in and you participate in extra street races for some extra cash that way. And it's like, there's an in-game economy you can go and it's the thing where you wouldn't even necessarily have to just do a one-to-one remake of the film if you didn't want to use Paul Walker. Like I could understand something being a little bit fucky there where it's like, yeah, do you really want to I don't know. It would be up to his family, obviously. But like, create a character. Go in it, Fast and Furious. At this point, Fast and Furious is just a fucking name.
Hmm.
Like
They're not street
it's
racers
not even.
anymore, that's for sure.
No, absolutely not. So if you wanted to go in and create your own character and like have a little, 12-hour Fast and Furious RPG where you're doing exactly that, and you can get out of the car at certain points, go into a few shops, get out the car, do some you're tailing people, kind of like an LA Noir to a certain degree. We're not that level of in-depth investigation, of course, because they're going to be putting the majority of the resources towards the driving, but where you have to do a little bit of investigative work, get out on foot a little bit before you hop back into car. You maybe have a couple combat encounters throughout the game, maybe 10 of them max that take a few minutes. Just simple mechanics, triangle to parry, square to punch, go up stealth, take down a couple people. Like just a little bit of sprinkle of variety in there. 8 to 12 hours, get an 82 Metacritic score, and finally get a somewhat fucking decent Fast and Furious game.
No, that is an interesting take because what I was originally perceiving it would be the perfect thing is, you know, just take it literally back to Need for Speed's roots, full motion
Right.
video and stuff like that. But then you're talking about like leaving the car and stuff, dude. Mad Max.
Yeah.
That's all you need to make is just Mad Max. Um, that's it's shown that a game can have good hand-to-hand combat and good vehicle driving. So I think you could easily figure that out. So
Yeah. Give it to fucking Avalanche. Like, let the literal Mad Max team make it. I mean, that's a great idea. They have great fucking driving, great physics, and great hand-to-hand like yeah, that's a and great shooting. Like that the team is actually really fucking good. They just don't sell particularly well.
yep, they have the
Um,
Deus Ex curse.
right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Fast and Furious, man, just make it. Like $50 million. Give someone a $50 million budget and say you can't fucking go over $50 million. We're giving it to a European developer. If you can make Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 for 40 mil, bitch, you if you can't fucking get in there and create 12 hours of decent Fast and Furious content for a video game for $50 million and Kingdom Come can be released for 40, there's something wrong with this universe.
And speaking of the universe, next up, Dune, baby. um, so
Oh
obviously
boy.
it's a series that's kind of grown on people. People are getting more and more exposed to it. They obviously did the reboot films with Zendaya.
Yep.
I don't know who else was.
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, that was it. Timothy Chalamet, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so there's good heavy hitter actors. The films grossed very well.
Yeah.
The games, however, that they've put out a little bit hit or miss. We had Imperium, I think it was called, card game that came out recently. You had Spice Wars, which was kind of a mimicky kind of thing of Civilization, and then you obviously had the Dune Awakening, which is upcoming. What I'm hoping, like, if you could get anything for a Dune game, would be it's perfect because it links. I ended up replacing the Dune Awakening for a Mad Max trailer, so it ties into what we said about Mad Max. I just want to see like exploring the worlds of Dune in that way and
Exactly.
having like it doesn't have to be. This is the thing. Like we both enjoyed Mad Max. It was never a narrative powerhouse,
No.
but it was just enjoyable to play through. And I think that would be really, really cool of going in using the vehicles that are in Dune and stuff like that. Maybe visiting different planets, even like a Star Wars Outlaws would be a cool thing. Like visiting different planets in Dune because it has such deep, intricate like political things going on in that universe
Yep.
that they really like when they're doing them in the movies, they have to cram them in so condensed to the point where it's astonishing that they even get a lot of that story beat out of it because of how much they're having to cut down and be very very brief with. So expanding that out into like a 20, 30 hour game of like several planets and dealing with different factions and different religious takes and stuff like that, I think that could be really, really cool. It doesn't even have to be like a retelling of the Atreides stuff with Paul. It could be anything. Like you could play as like the clan Harkonnen and stuff like that. There's tons of different factions that just remain untouched, like big time, that I think could be really interesting for a game setting.
It's a license to print money. Like, if you make a single player, like you said, a Star Wars Outlaws, a Hogwarts Legacy, Mad Max, like if you make a single player open world Dune game, you are going to the bank. Like, it is going to sell like hotcakes. People are craving because we're out of the Marvel craze. We're out of the Star Wars craze. And like this is probably the next big hit IP that's on the market right now. Like I can't think of anything else that is hitting quite like this is hitting. There might be something that I'm overlooking, but this thing was huge, dude. And yeah, it's you could create your own character,
Yep.
pick your faction, pick your skill set, have an RPG
Yeah.
made out of it.
I think that's the best way of doing it because each house has their own like strengths and weaknesses. And just oh man, it's so untapped potential. You could like cyberpunk that baby and do like origins openings, like if you want to play as like the Benny Gesserit and stuff like that, and do all that stuff. Oh, that would be so cool. Shadow of the Colossus, that thing with the massive dune worms. Like you're just flying out there, and then it's just yeah. Every now and then that can happen. Man, that would
Yeah,
yeah. That unfortunately, I don't think you would be able to condense that down into like a 50 million budget. That would be something
no.
that would be earth shattering levels of budget. And I don't know. It has a massive pool with fans of the books and fans of movies. I don't know if they've done enough to branch off into gaming to spend that much budget and get that much recouped. It would be, if they were to start off with this and it was actually going to happen, you'd have to be a lot more condensed and then get ambitious with the sequel, like build up anticipation and expectation.
I know that this might not be smart, but like BioWare tackling a Dune game, I know that they are incredibly expensive and it's tough to get games out the door for under a couple hundred mil for them, which I think you probably need a couple hundred mil for this game. This is one of those rare instances where it's probably worth a couple hundred mil to put
Yeah,
into it. Um, who else could even tackle this thing? Like, you don't really want to put a spiders on it. You don't really want
no.
to put like somebody who can hit you with a B tier. You want to fucking top notch.
BioWare probably would be the best. Second best. If you're talking about like limiting yourself and putting restrictors on that first game, Obsidian would probably be the second best.
Obsidian would be great.
And then yeah, how you would like
Yeah,
handle that sequel of like blowing that up into like it would be the Jedi Fallen Order to Survivor thing of where it's
totally.
massive leaps in expanding out. So
Yeah. Hell, man, maybe. Ooh, let's say, what if Fable comes out and is incredible, and Playground kind of makes their own little RPG wing, and could they possibly? Because I mean, once again, talking about vehicles and anything in that realm, if they are able to parlay their talent for vehicle creation and the maneuverability of, different whatever, whether it's aircraft or
it's funny because I've not seen the newer films yet. I'm waiting for them to all come out because there's a part three, I believe, coming out. Um, so all of my knowledge is from the old like 70s films. So you're talking about yeah vehicles, and I'm just thinking of some of that goofy animation of where they it's just like yeah man that would be so good. Oh
dude. But shit, yeah, man. I would love to see that, and I think that that has to happen because that MMO, sure, people are gonna play it, people are gonna like it, it's gonna probably be decent, but people,
Yeah, it needs to be
people.
a Crimson Desert, Black Desert thing. Like do that Black Desert like MMO thing and then bam. There we go, baby. Dune.
I don't know if you've seen all, and we ain't got to get into this, but that team is building their own engine because they're like, there's no other engine that's capable of doing what we want for Crimson Desert.
The earlier like leaked benchmarks are like fairly strong as well. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. It's like, damn, you guys have like made a fairly stable product. Like I didn't think that that was possible. I thought this was going to come out and be like sub 30,
Yeah.
struggling. Obviously, it's
I'll
still time to tell, but they
I'll have
look
to
like
see
they're
it to believe
cooking.
it.
They
Yeah,
look like
I'll
they're
have to see it to
cooking.
believe it, but man, I'm really, really hoping. I'm hoping. I'm so, so hoping. All right, so we're now on my third, correct?
Third and final.
Third and final. Okay. So let's just end it with a quick bang. Heels. This is a wrestling television show that I think debuted on Hulu and it got picked up for a season two. And then the pandemic happened and a bunch of like funding was pulled. They ended up pretty much shutting up shop and then Netflix bought the rights to it. So there's still a pulse, hopefully, for Heels, but there is no season three. Netflix has not renewed a season three yet. I don't know what's happening. I hope we get it. It is the best wrestling television show of all time. I'll even say it's probably the best wrestling product of all time, like in terms of any movie, even including Mickey Rourke's The Wrestler, even include like, I, well, it depends on what you want. If you want fun, lighthearted, something you can chill, watch with someone who's not really into wrestling and just get a cool drama, some cool, you know, kind of tension with relationships and marital issues, and then also building an independent wrestling company and trying to put on good matches, build feuds, some of the feuds from the ring parlaying to out of the ring, and like it's just a really, really fun show. And if I could have anything, I would probably just pick for a season three to be on TV, to be on Netflix, whatever it may be, because I want to see Stephen Amell and I want to see this cast come back because they truly, from all the interviews I've heard, they love working on it. Um, but if you can't do that, get that cast in, get them motion captured, and let's do a fucking season three in game form. I can't sit here and say I have a ton of like built in I don't have a ton of reason to give you for this one other than I just want to see the plot
I
progress.
just
It ended
want
on
it.
I think there could be some cool decision making shit because if you were put in charge of Stephen Amell's role, he's pretty much running the entire independent promotion. So if you're the one booking matches, you're the one putting together storylines, you're making like you get four choices for okay, what should main event, and there's different results based on what you pick. So okay, I pick these two to main event. The crowd doesn't necessarily feel it because the feud wasn't properly built up, and maybe you can kind of parlay it into a GM mode from SmackDown versus Raw 2006 and also combine that with a story mode that's actually, you know, with cutscenes and real stories that are going to play out throughout what you're seeing in game, but it's all based upon the decisions you make. Maybe there's something where you can blend GM mode and a Telltale style game there, and maybe you don't have any actual wrestling, or maybe the wrestling is all pre-scripted and you're just setting up the big spots that you see, but you don't actually control. I don't really know.
Or giving you windows during the match to basically be like, are you going to stick to the script or go off script? So it does like a
Right.
split, like it slows down. It goes, stick to script, go off script.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That could be.
classic choose your own
Yeah.
adventure. Yeah. You could definitely do something like that. Um, listen, these are, if I'm being real, these are just three. The Fast and Furious is a business thing. Like I that's stupid. That no business, no fucking publisher has figured that out yet. Like that is actually dumb. That will print you money. The other two, Dazed and Confused and Heels, those are heart picks. So I'm gonna end with my heart.
Okay, that's good. So if you could have one, if they could, of all them three, you have to choose one. The others will never happen. I mean, mine's easy. Mine's at the Mountain of Madness. Um,
Okay.
because they've never. They've also a fun fact about it. They've tried making that into a film several times now, and nobody can ever adapt it into a film. Nobody's figured that out yet. So if I
That
could
makes
just get a
sense
game,
because
you can't really convey
yeah,
that in like a film with it be like it's so hard to have something that slow paced be that compelling.
exactly. Yeah. Um, yeah, how do you do that in 2 hours? You could do it in 15 in a game though. I okay. The best game out of those three would be Dazed and Confused.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be the one that's like actually breaking new ground, doing new interesting things. So I think I pick that. Business me picks Fast and Furious, and me sitting here as a human, Brandon, Sylvia, sitting in this chair right now, I personally pick Heels. So it's like, do I go with the best game, the money making game, or the just
Oh,
the
go with
game
your
that's
heart.
literally only
Go with your heart.
Heels?
There we go.
Heels. Heels. Yeah, dude, I'm in such a wrestling groove right now, Loon. Like it's bad. I'm not playing video games. Like, and I've talked on the channel so many times about, I'll always be here in the trenches, fucking gaming away till my fingers bleed, baby. And I'm out here like it's WrestleMania season. So I'm just watching wrestling, like documentaries, old pay-per-views, Triple H interviews. Like it's all consuming right now. I'm so in. But with all that being said, guess the one thing I'm not fucking doing?
Playing wrestling games?
Watching the damn television show. I
Oh.
still don't watch Raw and SmackDown ever.
Oh.
I watch
Really?
the clips. Never, never. I watch the clips on YouTube after, but it's like anytime I think of sitting down for a full 3 hour wrestling shit, like for a full Raw or SmackDown, I'm like,
I didn't
oh,
know they were
just
3 hours. Jesus Christ.
they're like two sometimes, but I'm just like, dude, I'd rather play Alpha Protocol. So I can't say I haven't been playing any games. I have been playing Alpha Protocol and NFL 2K5, but yeah, not a lot of game productivity for me. So I'm going heels. You're going
At the Mountains
mountain
of Madness.
at the Mountains of Madness. Okay. And that's a great name too. You put that on a
Mm.
box, the mountain there, the gray text. I see it now. Yeah. I,
Maybe you can get
I'm
real,
more
real, real creative with that spine art, cover art, everything, putting in little goodies.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, guys, that's going to be it for us. That's a ramble fest about some of the games we need adapted ASAP Rocky. Let us know in the comments below what games would you like to see made from your favorite film, television show, or if you're if you're so inclined, you can do books as well. We appreciate you guys. Stick around, stay tuned if you like fun, chill, topic based. If you like these topics, let us know about that as well. We're trying everything, seeing what sticks. So let us know what you like. If you like the topics, the fun, just shooting the shit sort of topics, let us know in the comments below, and we shall see you very soon. Goodbye.
See you later.